Hi there, everyone, and happy Tuesday to you. My name is Blair Miller, anchor for Atlanta News First, and here on the ANF Plus desk tonight, and bringing you an update on where we stand on some of the headlines out there this evening, and hopefully we'll be able to give you an update on the weather situation from meteorologist Patrick Pete. It is a gorgeous day out there today. I don't know about you. I know it's a bit of a wonky week because of the holiday and everything, and some people have Thursday off, maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday too. But it's just a beautiful day out there today. Hopefully you noticed a slight drop in the temperatures. I think they said about 5-degree difference here in Atlanta from yesterday and those 90-plus temperatures we were having. And hopefully you got a chance to enjoy it here and enjoy this evening as well. Because tomorrow, what they're saying is the heat's going to be coming back. And then we also have the storm chances that will be coming back a little later this weekend. So we'll be hopefully getting an update from our team of meteorologists here tonight who are basically tracking what's out there and what's happening out there with as we approach the holiday weekend. So many outside activities, of course, and I know a bunch of fireworks get going here tonight and tomorrow night as well, so hopefully no problems with that. But making some of the headlines tonight, just an awful story that we're following this evening, and Atlanta officials are offering up a reward up to $10,000 in cash after a triple shooting, a deadly triple shooting, and officials really trying to find some clues that will lead them to an arrest in this. And the details of this are just heartbreaking as they look for a gunman. 2 teenagers were killed in all this. Another one ended up in the hospital after shots rang out at an apartment complex, and this happened in southwest Atlanta. But again, a reward now being offered up in this case, and it's just heartbreaking to hear the details of this. When we talk about gun violence in the city, people point to examples like this one as something that concerns them. And today, our Brittany Ford has been looking into this to find out what exactly happened and what police are trying to find out. And here's a bit of what she found out earlier today.
Happened at an apartment complex on Spark Street in southwest Atlanta. Authorities say 2 teens who have been identified as 13-year-old Jacody Davis and 13-year-old Lamont Freeman were shot and killed while hanging out on the stairs just before 1 a.m. Tuesday morning. Atlanta police say they're working to find a motive. Right now, no arrests have been made.
That's the latest tonight from Brittany Ford, and a story we continue to follow as police look for the gunman in this case. Obviously very concerning for that community. But again, when we're talking about violence in the city, that's certainly something that's concerning to officials tonight. When the details you hear about teenagers involved in this, so many bullet holes at this apartment complex, as we were hearing from people earlier today, talk about the impact in their backyard, and they talk about how they've had some issues like this before in the past, which is extremely concerning. Another big story following today, and this really all across the country, we had that debate here in Atlanta last week, and ever since then, people have been, on both sides of the aisle, have been calling for some kind of change with who the nominee is for the Democratic ticket, and that, of course, being our president, Joe Biden. And these calls for change are getting louder, especially within the Democratic Party. Of course, this is something that we haven't had too many officially come out on the record and talk about this, but we know there is one congressman out of Texas who today had that public official calling out there saying it's time for a change and we need to look at another nominee. It's really an unprecedented call for President Biden to step aside, saying it's time, for a change in this. This is the latest in the fallout from what even some Democrats have admitted was a shaky debate performance here in Atlanta last week, and you really haven't heard too much from President Trump on this, but Republicans are really trying to let the Democrats sort this out, and we'll see how this shakes down. Our Doug Reardon earlier today was talking to folks here in Atlanta about where they stand on this and what they think should happen. Here's some of what he found earlier today.
Fallout from what was at times
I really don't know what he said at the end of this.
a shaky debate performance from President Joe Biden continued almost a week later. The National Democratic Party shifting the narrative, taking out these ads in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, focused instead on Donald Trump's debate performance. A memo from Democratic leaders in Georgia to lawmakers and party officials warns reporters, quote, should not be considered friends. And Tuesday, U.S. Congressman Lloyd Doggett, a Texas Democrat, called for Joe Biden to step aside as the nominee, becoming the first national Democrat to do so.
I don't really buy into that.
But here on the ground in Georgia, not everyone agreed. Amin Ghonaim is a Democratic delegate from Forsyth County. He said he pledged his nomination to Biden already, and at the party convention in August, he'll do it again.
You don't ditch the person that brought you to the dance. So it would be, in my opinion, a little bit anti-democratic of general randoms like myself to select some random nominee.
While technically difficult, replacing Biden at the convention is legally possible, says constitutional law professor Eric Siegel with Georgia State University.
The question is, obviously, should it be done if you're a Democrat? And even if you think it should be done, is the political will there to do it?
While Democrats are seemingly scrambling to do damage control, Republicans are capitalizing not necessarily off a Trump win, but what is widely considered a Biden loss.
For Republicans, they saw the debate basically as the end of Joe Biden's presidency. They saw it as completely devastating, that there was no recovering from it.
That report from Doug Reardon earlier today, who was talking with folks about what should happen and going forward. And it'll be interesting to see, how politicians respond to this. But with the holiday coming up, maybe there'll be a break in the conversation. But these conventions are coming pretty quickly, and so if this is going to gain momentum, certainly some Democrats would like to see it, so it would have to do it pretty quickly. So we'll have to see how this kind of unfolds here in Georgia, which certainly is been a purple state in the last election cycle. We'll see how it shakes down, this election, but so much focus on what's happening in this state and all across the country. So that is a story we will be following here tonight, and a bunch of stories here in our newsroom we are following this evening that we'll be updating you on at 10 and 11 o'clock tonight. I was talking about the weather a little earlier and just talking about how gorgeous it is outside, and I want to bring in meteorologist Patrick Pete because like I was saying, hope you got a good chance to enjoy it today because today was a great day. And hello, my friend.
Bonjour.
Bonjour,
Comment ça va?
monsieur.
Comment ça va?
Oui, bien. Et tu?
Ça va très bien.
Oh, oui, oui. So anyway, this is awesome today. This is more like it today.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. It's nice today.
But it's gonna get back to those 90s tomorrow.
We actually technically
Did
hit
we
90
really?
today.
Oh,
So
okay.
the heat
I was
wave
so
did not
excited because I
break.
thought we were just gonna be at 89 today.
It was going to
so.
be nice if we would have stayed there, but we hit 90 for all of about
Come
15
on in.
minutes.
Give people what they want, right?
Yeah, I'm sure y'all didn't want that 90 degrees for 15 minutes, but we did hit it. But it was cooler because, yesterday we were 97, so if we can lose 7 degrees, we're moving
You
in the
feel
right
it.
direction.
You do
Yeah,
feel it.
it
And there was
felt
a little wind
amazing
out there
here.
today. It was nice. So.
It was a little sticky, but the wind made it feel like manageable. Like I went outside for a nice run earlier today because it was just so nice out. So
How are we going to be for the 4th?
hotter, more humid, some spotty showers around in the afternoon, maybe a rumble of thunder. I think if you're checking out fireworks, the forecast looks better. It dries out after sunset. So,
Okay.
but I'm gonna get to it because I
Carry
don't
on
want
with it.
to give away all the nuggets. I gotta save a little something for the newscast. Good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing? I pray that all is well. Hope y'all are having a fantastic Tuesday. It's Tuesday, so y'all should be eating tacos. Blair, did you notice that you looked short on here? Did you notice? No?
I moved it down a little bit.
Okay,
so I'm
just
not
making sure.
Maybe it's you.
Just making sure.
who's
Well,
short.
I'm taller than you. So,
My preset was a little off.
yeah, I think I'm going to have to change my preset. But good evening to y'all. Hopefully y'all are having a fantastic Tuesday. Y'all know we like to laugh and cut up a little bit here. But we do have to switch gears a little bit because we need to talk about something that is a little more serious, and that is the tropics. The story right now around the country, around the world, is really just this powerful hurricane that developed early in an area that it's typically not supposed to develop in this time of year, and reached an intensity that it typically isn't supposed to reach this early in the year. So definitely something that we're watching, and we definitely want to give you the latest on that. So if you can bear with me for all of about 30 more seconds, I will have everything in place as needed, and we can just dive in. Let's go ahead and take this full screen real quick because I want to give you the latest on Hurricane Beryl. There has been some weakening of the system in the last couple of hours. We've been watching the pressure for any of the weather nerds that are out there. And I say that with love in my heart because part of the reason that I am a meteorologist today is because I was a weather nerd as a kid. You get an interest when you're younger, and sometimes it sticks with you, sometimes it does not. Let's dive into the latest. So I mentioned the pressure has increased. We've been watching that happen for the last couple of hours, and consequently, the winds have decreased. There's an inverse relationship there. When one goes up, the other goes down. and vice versa. Still racing to the west-northwest at 22 miles per hour. Still a very powerful Category 4 hurricane. Just shy of being Cat 5. Winds would need to be at 157 for it to be a Cat 5. We saw that happen for a while last night and for parts of the day, but the storm has since weakened. Let's get into some of the latest things that we're seeing with this storm. You can dive in. You can see that there's an explosion, deeper reds, deeper convection on that northeastern side. We always say it's that right front quadrant where you get the heavier downpours and specifically the stronger winds. But you can also see that the eye not quite as defined as it was earlier. And we typically watch this because whenever you see that eye kind of shrinking or whatever, these systems undergo eye wall replacement cycles, and typically when you're undergoing an eye wall replacement cycle, you get some weakening. Also, you don't see the deeper convection that you see around that eye wall. It gets a little bit less tight and deeper and darker. It typically brightens up a little bit, and that's what we're seeing. Can't say specifically that we're going through an eye wall replacement cycle yet because we haven't seen the eye wall collapse, but definitely seeing some evidence of that right now on satellite. But also seeing some evidence of a very powerful system that's still turning towards the west-northwest. Weakening is not unexpected. That's been a part of this forecast for the last couple of days. We knew it would intensify and then it would start to weaken. It's moving into an atmosphere that's a little bit more sheared than the atmosphere that it's been in. So essentially the winds at a higher elevation are kind of trying to cut it apart, trying to tear it apart, trying to block it off from blossoming and exploding. And if you saw some of the imagery from this storm earlier, actually yesterday, you could have seen it as recently as yesterday, you saw some of those tops, the white satellite view, it's visible. You can see some of those tops just kind of bubbling up, and that's indicative of developing a very robust updraft. Whenever you have shear, kind of cuts off that updraft. Sorry, nerded out for a moment. Let's get back to the task at hand. So we expect this to continue to move towards the northwest or west-northwest, very fast-paced, but still be a very strong major hurricane as it makes its brush with Jamaica. Once again, we kind of had this discussion last night, but everybody that's on our stream right now may not have been on the stream last night. This cone is what we call the cone of uncertainty. It's kind of like one of those terms that have just kind of stuck. A lot of times you see the icons in the middle of that cone like you see right now. Sometimes there's a line, and the misconception is that the storm is going to pass in the middle. But in theory, the cone means that the hurricane center can track in any part of that cone. And we've been seeing this hurricane trend a little bit more towards the northern part of that cone. With that being said, if this trend continues, we could see this eye wall getting very, very close to Jamaica. There could even be a brief landfall, something we're going to continue to watch. Either case, remember we were just discussing that northern side of the storm, that right front quadrant being where we saw some of the deeper colors starting to develop, some of the stronger winds typically in that area as well. That's going to be on that Jamaica side, regardless of where. I mean, the system would have to go all the way on the northern edge of this for Jamaica to not be on that strongest side. So the implications based off of what we're seeing is that they're going to get some very serious impacts from a Category 3 major hurricane, wind sustained at 125, probably gusting 140-ish. So it's something that we're going to continue to watch. There's going to be a significant storm surge also, and there's going to be some heavy downpours. So definitely thoughts and prayers with everybody that's in that area, but also downwind, because this is going to be making its way towards the Cayman Islands as well. Right now, that exact location in reference to the Caymans is undetermined because it's just a little bit further out, but something we're going to watch. The weakening trend continues as it moves towards Cancun, the Yucatan Peninsula, so we'll watch for that to happen, some sort of interaction occurring late Thursday night into Friday morning, and then this should emerge in the Bay of Campeche, and we're going to be watching it from there. Something that you may have noticed over the course of the last 24 hours or even the last 12 hours is that the cone has been extended, and now parts of the United States could be getting a direct impact from this system. It will be a weaker system. It's funny because I have a lot of friends, obviously a lot of family on the Texas Gulf Coast, Southwest Louisiana, and so the post going around in the circuit down there is, why aren't we talking about this storm? And it's because, after going through Laura and Delta and all of the storms that they've dealt with in the last couple of years, this is going to be a different type of storm. And right now, the trend is for this to not impact them as much. They may get some rain, some outer bands. Cameron Parish area, that you get a good little thunderstorm that moves in off the Gulf on a regular day, you end up getting flooding of roads down there. But I digress. Something we'll continue to monitor. Right now, this is not looking like this is going to have a direct impact to our forecast within the next couple of days. Beyond that, we'll just have to watch and see what happens. But I think we're okay as far as that is concerned. If you do have interests in traveling to Jamaica tomorrow, I don't think that it's necessary for me to tell you that you should probably think about delaying your trip a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and say that just in case. Jamaica is under hurricane warning as hurricane force winds are expected to be in that area within the next 24 to 30 hours or so. So something that we'll watch for that. Obviously, Haiti and the Dominican Republic experiencing tropical storm force winds, at least parts of that island, Hispaniola, experiencing that. So something we'll continue to monitor. Closer to home, things are quiet. It's a different weather story. We are dealing with mostly clear skies, that boundaries to the south of us. We had that nice breezy east wind that brought in lower humidity, and it's also brought in some slightly cooler temperatures. Blair alluded to that earlier today. We're in the mid-80s right now, so still warm, but, whenever you come from 97 yesterday afternoon, hitting only 90 today, it just really kind of seems like a win. So I think we're winning and we're loving life. Mid-70s tonight, a few clouds around. It's going to be pretty dry through the overnight. We'll get a lot of sunshine to kickstart the day tomorrow, and that's going to allow for some warmer numbers. We're going with like a 10 to 20% chance of an isolated shower, but I think that 98% of you will be dry tomorrow. It just looks like we're going to have a good day tomorrow, which is good. A little warm, but it's a win. 85 degrees around lunchtime, and then we'll get into the 90s for a couple of hours as we push into the afternoon. There's a lot going on. The Braves, I think it's going to be the second game of this series against the Giants tomorrow night, 7:20. The forecast is going to be in the upper 80s, so I think that this is a good night for baseball. We don't stay inside because it's warm and hot outside. It's July. We expect that. We just drink plenty of water to go with our beer at the game, right? Low 80s as we get closer to 11 o'clock, and we're warm again through the overnight. I think we have a better chance of seeing some afternoon pop-ups on Thursday afternoon than we do tomorrow. With that being said, we're calling it about a 20% chance. Maybe have to bump that to 30, but spotty, not something that's going to consume all day. Don't cancel the barbecue because I want a piece. I want a piece of chicken. I want a burger. And if anybody has andouille sausage, I want some andouille sausage. Throw some andouille sausage links on there. It'll change your life, I promise you. But, yeah, don't cancel any of your outdoor plans. This is one of those type of days where it's going to be pop-ups. They pop in, they pop out. We've seen that happen this weekend. The weekend was mainly dry for most of us. We had a couple of little pop-ups here and there, everywhere, and we dried out. Have your First Alert Weather app while you're outside, throwing your steaks on the grill or whatever the case may be. If any of those thunderstorms start to move into your area, we actually send out an alert and it says, hey, lightning, 4.8 miles away. That's our way of telling you may want to come inside for a little while. But definitely not anything to cancel your plans for. As we lose the sun, those showers and storms will diminish. So I know that a big part of the Thursday celebration will be fireworks, whether that's your own fireworks or whether that's going to see displays in your independent cities or townships. I think we're drier by around 9 o'clock. So all of these events that kick off at around 8, 9 o'clock, 8, there may be some stuff fizzling out. 9, it looks like we're all dry, and we're dry through the overnight hours. I don't think this needs to be said, but I'm going to say it because it's just the kind of person I am. Just be careful with your fireworks, y'all. I grew up in the country, and so I know that it's fun to pop off fireworks on all these holidays in the backyard and stuff like that. Just remember that we are relatively dry. We have parts of our area that's in a moderate drought. And so popping off these fireworks in very, very dry situations can lead to fire. We saw that last year, and unfortunately an entire apartment complex was impacted. You had people that were displaced for months, and some of them maybe not even going back yet because I think that some of this stuff is still being rebuilt. So just be a little careful. You find a park, find an open field, and if you're going to do this, also make sure that you have something to put out a fire if it does happen. So I think it's all about planning. Just remember it's dry out. I'm not trying to spoil your fun and your vibe. I just want to give you the heads up. Anyways, I see people are leaving the YouTube chat. That means I need to stop preaching. Let's get you through this forecast. Temperatures in the 90s the next couple of days. I think we'll have more southerly flow heading into the beginning of the weekend and Saturday and even Sunday. And that's going to lead to increased humidity, but it's also going to lead to increased chances for those showers and thunderstorms to become more scattered. So instead of it just being hit or miss, it becomes more likely that you see it as we head into Friday and Saturday. Specifically Sunday and Monday look wet as well. No first alert weather days right now because there's going to be some shifts in this, no doubt, just depending on the amount of moisture that comes in. But for now, that setup is looking like it is going to be a little bit unsettled, specifically in the afternoons. So something that we will continue to monitor. Meanwhile, the heat wave does not end today, and it does not end in this 7-day forecast because temperatures remain in the 90s through the beginning of next week. Alrighty, so I feel like I have talked y'all's heads off. There is a piece of pecan pie that is upstairs that has everybody's name on it, and I'm going to get a slice of it. So I'm going to leave y'all with the 7-day forecast so that you can make your plans. And, of course, we are awaiting that next update on Hurricane Beryl. We'll get another one at 11 o'clock. And just like last night, whenever meteorologist Fred Campagna was the first to tell you, not only on the air but through the First Alert Weather app, about this being upgraded to a Category 5 hurricane, he'll be the first to give you that updated information on the track and the intensity of Beryl at 11. So you guys have a fantastic night. You know where to find us. Have a good night.